Okay, we are going to talk about intervals of increase, decrease, and constant. So if you take your diagram here, just for ease of talking, we're going to label each section with capital letters so that we are all on the same page when we talk about different segments of this graph. And you guys have done a really nice job of understanding that segment A is a segment of decrease, because as we move from left to right, the graph is going down. Then segment B is increase. Segment C would be a constant segment. D is an increase, and E is a decrease. But now we're going to talk about the interval for which it is doing this. So we're going to look at segment A. And when we talk about intervals, we want to push this interval down onto the x-axis. And we want to read for what input values is the output the function that's decreasing. So notice that from 0 up to 2.5, that is the interval, the input values, the domain that produces segment A. So we would say one of the intervals of decrease on this graph is when x is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 2.5. So when you write this interval of decrease, you put your variable in the middle. Your symbols are always going to be going in the same direction, and they're always going to be opening to the right here. And the way we read this, we cover up this side first and we say x is greater than or equal to 0 and x is less than or equal to 2.5. So let's find another interval where it's decreasing. So segment E. And we look at segment E is produced between 8.5 and 10. So another interval of increase is when x is greater than or equal to 8.5 and less than or equal to 10. Okay, our interval of increases would be segment B. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to try to figure out where does segment B start and where does it end. Well, we already have it labeled up here that segment B starts at 2.5, but notice it ends at 4.5. So this interval of increase is when x is between 2.5 and 4.5. So we say x has to be greater than or equal to 2.5 and less than or equal to 4.5. The other interval of increase is segment D. And when we look at where segment D starts, we go all the way down. Notice that it starts at 7 and it ends up here at 8.5. So another interval of increase is x is greater than or equal to 7 and less than or equal to 8.5. And the last one we have is our constant interval. Our constant interval is this horizontal segment right there. And we've already got where it starts and where it ends labeled down here. It starts when x is 4.5. It ends when x is 7. So our constant interval is when x is greater than or equal to 4.5 and less than or equal to 7. Okay, now you can put this into your notebooks and you are going to use this document to complete your activity.